My name is Elena Carter, and at 34 years old, I finally discovered that some seats at a family table come with invisible conditions. The truth hit me during my parents' 35th wedding anniversary celebration, when my father casually directed me toward a storage room while every other relative enjoyed a place of honor at the main event, completely unaware that the gift in my hands would change everything within a matter of weeks. For most people, family gatherings are places of warmth and belonging, but for me they had always been workplaces disguised as celebrations. I was the daughter who handled every emergency, solved every problem, remembered every birthday, organized every holiday, and quietly carried responsibilities that nobody else seemed willing to touch. I built my career as a forensic accountant, spending countless hours tracing hidden transactions and uncovering truths buried beneath paperwork. That profession taught me something important. Every imbalance eventually reveals itself, and every system built on one person's silent sacrifices eventually reaches a breaking point. My mother never directly asked me to sacrifice my time because she didn't need to. Whenever something needed attention, she simply assumed I would handle it. And after years of hearing phrases like, "You're so dependable and you always know what to do," I accepted responsibilities that were never truly mine. When the anniversary celebration was announced months in advance, everyone naturally expected me to organize it from beginning to end. I arranged the venue, coordinated vendors, managed guest lists, handled transportation for elderly relatives, negotiated contracts, solved scheduling conflicts, and spent dozens of evenings ensuring every detail would be perfect. At the same time, I secretly worked on a meaningful gift that represented years of effort and devotion. I restored an old wedding photograph of my parents that had been damaged by time and assembled documents proving that a treasured family lake house had been saved from financial disaster through payments I had personally made over several years. That lake house held generations of memories, but very few people knew how close it had come to being lost forever. While everyone else enjoyed holidays there, I quietly paid overdue taxes, handled legal notices, coordinated maintenance, and protected the property without receiving a single acknowledgement from those who benefited most. The day of the anniversary arrived with perfect weather, elegant decorations, and guests praising every detail of the event I had spent months creating. As I walked through the venue carrying the carefully wrapped gift, I felt something unusual growing inside me, a hope that perhaps this time my efforts would finally be recognized. That hope disappeared the moment I examined the seating chart and realized my name was missing entirely. I searched every table twice, convinced there had been a mistake. But the truth became impossible to ignore when my father approached with a smile and guided me toward a small storage area away from the celebration. Inside the room sat a single plastic folding chair surrounded by maintenance equipment and cleaning supplies. While cousins, neighbors, and even relatives with questionable histories enjoyed elegant seating in the main hall, I was expected to spend the evening hidden beside boxes and tools, as though I were an afterthought rather than family. For several minutes I sat there listening to music and laughter echo through the walls, watching a celebration I had built unfold without me. Nobody came to check on me. Nobody questioned my absence, and nobody seemed concerned that the person responsible for making the event possible had been quietly removed from it. As I sat holding the gift in my lap, years of memories replayed in my mind with painful clarity. Every favor, every emergency, every sacrifice, and every moment I had convinced myself that being needed meant being valued suddenly looked very different when viewed through the lens of that lonely chair. Instead of creating a dramatic scene, I made a simple decision that would ultimately prove far more powerful. I stood up, carried the gift back to my car unopened, and left the celebration without a speech, without tears, and without giving anyone the reaction they expected. Later that evening, I discovered messages exchanged among family members before the event, conversations that confirmed my exclusion had been planned in advance. Reading their casual jokes about where to place me hurt more than the storage room itself, because it revealed how little consideration they had ever given my feelings. The following morning, I opened a spreadsheet and documented every recurring responsibility I managed for the family. The list grew longer and longer until it contained dozens of tasks, ranging from medical appointments and financial records to event planning, property management, travel coordination, and countless other invisible duties. Then I quietly stepped away from all of them. I removed myself from shared systems, transferred vendor contacts to their rightful owners, stopped sending reminders, and allowed family members to handle responsibilities that had always belonged to them, but had somehow become mine through years of silent expectation. The effects appeared almost immediately as appointments were missed, invoices went unpaid, schedules collapsed, and confusion spread through the family. For years, everyone had assumed things simply worked on their own, never realizing how much effort had been required behind the scenes to keep everything functioning smoothly. Phone calls soon followed, but none contained the apology I had hoped for. Instead, relatives complained about problems, demanded information, and expressed frustration that I was no longer solving issues for them, as though my withdrawal of unpaid labor was somehow an act of betrayal. During that period, I spent more time with my grandmother, the only person who truly understood what had happened. She listened carefully, offered wisdom without judgment, and reminded me that people often fail to appreciate the strongest support systems because they become accustomed to relying on them. Months later, another family gathering created an opportunity for honesty that could no longer be avoided. In front of relatives who had witnessed only the surface of our family dynamics, I revealed the years of unpaid work, the financial sacrifices, the saved property, and the anniversary gift that had never been opened. The room fell silent as the truth replaced the comfortable stories everyone had been telling themselves. For the first time, the invisible labor became visible, the sacrifices were documented, and the people, who had benefited most, were forced to confront the reality that the foundation supporting them had always been a single overlooked daughter. In the months that followed, I built a life centered around respect instead of obligation, surrounding myself with people who valued my presence rather than my usefulness. Thank you for watching our story. Please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends and family, because we create meaningful and inspiring stories especially for you. Months after that final family gathering, the changes became impossible to ignore. The responsibilities I had carried for years did not magically disappear when I stepped away. They simply became visible for the first time. Family members who had once assumed everything happened effortlessly were now forced to spend their own time, energy, and money managing the tasks they had taken for granted. My parents eventually realized that the problem had never been my refusal to help, but their expectation that I would always sacrifice myself without recognition. The silence that followed our confrontation gave them something they had avoided for years: time to reflect. For the first time, they began to understand how much of their comfort had been built on work they never bothered to acknowledge. My brother struggled the most with the transition because he had spent his entire life depending on systems someone else maintained for him. Missing deadlines, forgotten appointments, and unnecessary expenses taught him lessons that years of advice never could. Responsibility, he discovered, looks very different when you are the one carrying it. As for me, I stopped measuring my worth by how useful I was to other people. I invested my energy into my career, my friendships, and the people who genuinely appreciated my presence. The more I focused on building a life that respected my boundaries, the more confident and peaceful I became. For the first time in years, my time belonged to me. The support group I helped create continued to grow and soon became a safe place for people who felt invisible within their own families. Every meeting reminded me that I was not alone, and that countless others had spent years confusing obligation with love. Watching those people reclaim their confidence became one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Looking back, I no longer remember the garage as the place where I was humiliated. I remember it as the place where I finally woke up. That single chair taught me a lesson I will carry forever. Real love never treats you like a convenience. Real family never makes you earn your place. And the moment you start valuing yourself is the moment your entire life begins to change.